We go. Okay, let's get started with our introductions. We have two amazing experts to guide us through our conversation today. First, I'm excited to introduce you to Adebukola Ajao. Adebukola isn't just a digital marketing consultant, she's a fierce small business advocate. Armed with creativity and budget-friendly strategies, she guides solopreneurs and businesses to rise above the digital noise and build thriving brands. She founded her marketing agency, BDY Consult, on a simple belief. If you are in business, marketing is your business. But Ade Bukola's impact goes beyond her agency. She's an adjunct professor at Northeastern University, shaping the next generation of marketing minds who will build our digital future. Her expertise is coveted by Forbes, Essence, Fortune Magazine, and NASDAQ, and her writing on Black social movements, history, marketing, and culture has graced the pages of Adweek, Entrepreneur Magazine, Teen Vogue, and Vice Media. Today, she continues to inspire and educate small business owners, sharing her wisdom on brand and social media marketing, funding, and business resources at For All Things Digital. Through this free business resource, Adebukola has helped small businesses secure over $600,000 in grant funding since 2020. It is so great to have you here, Adebukola.
Thanks for having me. Such an amazing intro. Thank you so much.
Well, you did all the work. All I had to do was read it. So, yes, we're so excited to have you here. And we're going to drop all of the places that you can stay connected with Adebukola in the chat. So we'll keep that going. All right, next we have Tasha Harris. Tasha is the co-founder and president of Kobe Co., a nationally recognized candle and wellness brand rooted in the intersection of scent, sound, and self-care. She brings nearly 2 decades of experience in finance and operations leadership into the world of wellness, entrepreneurship, and community impact. In 2019, she walked away from her corporate career, burned out, and searched for a reset. That reset became Kobe Co., a venture she built alongside her daughter, transforming a small act of self-care into a thriving business. Today, Tasha champions a new model of success, one that prioritizes well-being, creativity, and community over burnout and grind culture. Through her speaking and mentorship, she blends business strategy with soulful practices, showing leaders and teams how to achieve operational excellence without sacrificing humanity. Passionate about legacy and impact, Tasha mentors young women and embeds Kobe Co.'s mission of empowerment and scholarship into everything she does. It is so great to have you here, Tasha.
Thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. Okay, I already know this is going to be such a good conversation. We've got the perfect people for the role, and we've already gotten a compliment on our glasses. So thank you to the people.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, let's jump into it. Okay, Ade Bukola, I want to start with you because a lot of small business owners get caught up in likes and follows. So, what's the difference between those vanity metrics and metrics that actually matter when it comes to sales?
Yeah, vanity metrics are the numbers that make us feel good. And I know people might look at the word vanity and be like, I don't like that word because it's like a bad word, right? But they're really things that make us feel good. But they don't necessarily and directly impact our bottom line, right? As a brand marketer, I do a lot of work around brand building, and sometimes we don't see real sales or ROI from those type of activities. But sales is a little different. It's all about what money did you make at the end and how are you able to get your customer to convert. So this looks like things like follower count, like likes and impressions. So while 10,000 followers sounds impressive, right? Like so many brands, and many of on this call I've already started to look at, have tons of followers and people who have dedicated themselves to follow your page. It does not necessarily mean they're actually buying from you, right? And so unfortunately, when it comes down to sales, your 10,000 follower count can be meaningless in that case, right? So what really matters when it comes to metrics is your conversion metrics, right? These tell you if social media is actually driving business towards you, right? So this looks like click-through rates on your links. Conversion rates can look like the percentage of people who are actually clicking the percentage of people who actually click on a link in your bio or on your website, how many of those people are actually purchasing from you at the end, right? This looks like cost per acquisition. Like how much money are you spending to acquire customers? One of my favorite, sales funnel metrics is email signups. When people part ways with their email, honestly, that's really, really a big deal. Now telling you, I want to take us from this platform and I want you to come to my personal platform and personally market to me. So email is king to me. This also looks like DM inquiries. How many people are actually reaching out to you personally? And I know a lot of business owners that don't check their DMs or respond to them, but those are considered conversions, right? They have now taken an action beyond just liking a post. They're now interacting with you. Another example can be, I'd rather have 500 engaged followers where 10% of those 500 people are actually purchasing with me than having 5,000 followers who kind of just like my stuff and make me go viral and it makes them feel good, but they're not buying with anything from me at the end of the day, right? So it's really about tracking how many people go from seeing your post to actually doing something, whether that's visiting your website, making a purchase, providing you with their number or email so you can do SMS marketing or email marketing, right? That's your real ROI when we're talking about vanity versus conversion.
That is really helpful because there are so many data metrics. So being able to identify, okay, like this is great, this is a vanity metric, and that feels good, but also like what are those deeper things that I need to be looking for or putting effort towards?
Absolutely.
Helpful.
I
Wonderful.
say vanity metrics are like confetti at a party. They look exciting, but when the music stops, they don't pay the DJ.
Oh, yes.
There
Love that.
you go. That is fun. I like that. Tasha, my next question is for you. From your own experience, what was the turning point when you realized social media could actually drive sales, not just attention to your brand?
Yeah, my real light bulb moment happened when a woman came into our store and said, I saw your reel last night. And I couldn't think, she couldn't stop thinking about the candle. And so she came into our store that very next day. And that's really when it clicked. Like our social media wasn't just giving people something nice to scroll past. It was literally shifting what they did and how they acted. And so it wasn't just that one time. We also posted a really casual behind the scenes video. It was really candid. It wasn't polished. It wasn't pitchy. I think we were just setting up a workshop. And that post ended up driving so many purchases for our workshops within minutes. I mean, we track our data. And so we could see how many, again, clicks and conversions that turned into actual sales immediately. And those moments taught me something big. When content feels like a conversation and not a commercial, people really lean in and they trust us more. And it gives them a clear, simple way to act on what they're feeling, whether it's walking into our store, booking a class, grabbing a candle, they do it. It turns into action. And at the end of the day, attention's cool, but action is everything. And so I'd say content is everything, but keep it casual, keep it real, keep it conversational, and those really convert for us.
That is so wonderful too, what you mentioned about how your content can actually shift the actions of your potential customer. They can really move them into action to engage with you. And when content feels like a conversation, I feel like needs to be on a t-shirt somewhere. That is so, it's very like poetic, but also makes a lot of sense in how you can approach content generation. Thank you. Uh,
So
Awesome. Okay, so Ade Bukola, my next question is for you. What are the key stages of a simple social media sales funnel, and how can small businesses start building one on platforms like Instagram or Facebook?
I'll start by saying this. I've worked in marketing for a long time, and when I was in marketing school, they would say the word funnel, and I was like, huh? I just couldn't wrap my mind around that process. And then, I started doing some more research and I realized that funnels are just journeys. I was like, okay, then why did you guys just say journeys? Like that sounds so much better to me. Like I get that. And so funnels are really what is the journey that your customer is taking, right? And there are many, many different types of funnels. And a simple one that I tell clients is 4 stages. We have awareness. right? This is when they're getting to discover you. Engagement, this is when they're following you, interacting with you. Conversion, this is where they now have taken an action to become a customer, right? Becoming a customer not only just means that they're parting ways with their money, this can be parting ways with their personal information, like their email or their number. And then we have loyalty stage. This is where, okay, now they're a believer, they're your actual customer. And so what this looks like in the awareness stage, again, this is where people discover who you are, whether it's through hashtags, through shares, through the explore page. Another great place that people become aware of a brand is through DMs, right? All of us look at content and we share it with a friend, right? Like a business owner can't see that interaction because it's private, right? And so that's a whole nother thing I wish we had more time to go into, right? Private communities. But your goal here is really to stop the scroll with valuable content that either solves a problem, that entertains someone, or that informs someone or educates them. The second stage is the engagement stage. And in this stage, now they're following you, they're interacting with you. This is where, on Instagram, for example, having pinned posts are so important, right? When someone comes on their page, they should know, okay, why am I here? Right? Because based off of whatever you have posted, they might not really know fully about you. They've discovered you now. Now they want to learn more. And this is why it's so important to have those pinned posts on your page so they can easily, when they come on the page, their eyes can go directly to who am I, why are you here, and here's how I can help you. And then we go into the conversion stage. This is where customers in an ideal world become customers, right? They're parting ways with their money. And this is where it's really important to use clear call to actions. This is where you're sharing your customer testimonials. You're creating limited time offers. And you're really just honestly making the experience important. It's not just about getting them to buy, but creating the experience for them to buy easily, right? So creating really clear call to actions. Now in marketing, we're calling them call to benefits, and sharing like super easy ways that they can engage with you. The last stage again is loyalty stage, and don't forget about your customers after the sale. And I think that sometimes happens a lot, especially for, I would say, CPG products and like product-based businesses. You're like, all right, I got one person to buy. Now I need to go to the next person. Now I need to go to the next person. But it's just like, actually, you really want to get that one person to buy 15 times, 20 times every month, every quarter, right? And so it's really about retargeting them and re-engaging them. And on Instagram, something this simply can look like creating a reel for awareness, creating stories to continue to keep them engaged, right? Because stories are ephemeral content. They come and they go every 24 hours. This looks like a feed post with a product link in the actual post, right? They're not like, okay, I love this product. Where do I go next? The link is right there. And this looks like, again, DMing with support as a part of your loyalty. So I really think it's just important to start simple and start with one platform and use this model on other platforms as well.
Ooh, that's really helpful because I think there's so many platforms and it can feel very overwhelming. So I like how you kind of drilled it down, like focus on one platform and get started there. Love that. Okay, my next question is for Tasha. What types of posts or content have you found really moved your followers closer to making a purchase?
I'd say the posts that sell for us are the ones that really build trust and connection with us as a brand and as a mother-daughter duo. People love to see Kobe and I either in photos or videos together. And that was so funny because initially I was really camera shy and like, no, this is all about you, Kobe. Kobe is my boss, my baby boss. She is not available today, but she's 23. She started the brand. She's the creative, and I'm the operations. And so I thought people would really be interested most in her story about how she overcame or used rituals, different self-care rituals to help her cope with anxiety and stress related to distance learning while she was experiencing COVID in high school. I didn't think that my story of being burnt out and in a really toxic environment and walking away from my career would be as engaging. But when I started sharing my story and appearing more with my daughter out of support, people really were able to identify with both of our stories and really appreciated our transparency and our bond as mother-daughter. Sometimes we'll go on Instagram or a reel and talk about the stressors of the day, or she'll, tell me, she'll have to give me direction or something. It's just when we're really transparent and honest, that's what people really love to see. And my one of my friends told me imperfection is connection. So I think people don't want to see perfect pictures and ideas of what business or relationships can look like. They want to see what the real deal is. And so we give them behind the scenes action, real live action in the store, or Kobe creating candles, or me, doing some paperwork. And that really it really people can connect with that. Testimonials are always big for us as well. We are so thrilled to when we go through our Google reviews and we hear about how people are really enjoying interacting with us and our store and our brand. And then we've got so many that are recorded. We love to share, and those really get people excited about our brand. I think it gives us validation and helps other customers or potential customers understand that this is a good product that people are using, they're loving it, and we have the stars, the 5 stars to show for it. And also, lastly, product in action. It's like people want to know, how do you use this candle as a stress reliever? All of our candles come with a curated playlist to help set your vibe. And so we love to show people how to actually enjoy the candle, create a ritual of self reflection and relaxation, and that really translates really well. So some of the tools that we use to bring our stories to life, because we do not have the budget to hire editors. Canva is a great tool. It's very intuitive. They have lots of tutorials on there. You can start with just a picture or a reel and just have at it. What's another one? Oh, CapCut. That one is also very an intuitive tool that will help you with editing your videos and bringing your stories to life.
Ooh, love that. And I love that you gave us some tools that we can dig into as well. And it was so interesting hearing about, the different kinds of content. Maybe something you wouldn't always think of, like that connection piece between you and your daughter, not directly saying like buy this candle, but showing like really the mission and the spirit of the company. And
Absolutely.
people are like, yeah, I want that candle and the playlist.
Yep.
So wonderful. Okay. Adebukola, what's one easy shift? Because this could feel like, okay, now I need to do an overhaul, right? So, what's one easy shift in content strategy that can help a business owner drive more purchases instead of just that engagement?
Yeah, I think what Tasha just talked about is extremely important. And again, we're changing some of our nomenclature in marketing. So instead of saying call to action, starting to see more people say call to benefit, right? Because you can tell someone, okay, love this look, it's 20% off today, go buy now. Like, okay, I guess. But when you show someone why they benefit from making that purchase, a little bit different. You're calling them to benefit from something as opposed to just telling them what to do. Because that's typically what we do in marketing. We tell people where to go, but you want to show them why it's important for them to make that action. So I think that's really important. I think another really big shift, aside from that, right, is just being very, very extremely, extremely clear. Like you really want to make the buyer journey ridiculously simple, right? This can include putting your link in multiple places. And I know this sounds so mundane, but this is something that a lot of small business owners miss in the midst of just doing so many things, like ensuring that your bio is updated. So if you're telling someone, hey, this product is here, go to the link in my bio, and I go there and I'm like, where is the link? Now I'm searching, now I've jumped through your page, and now I'm frustrated, right? So you really want to create delight in the process of your customer's journey. Of course, telling people and directing them where to go and where to be to find your product. And I know like other marketers would tell you like create a sense of urgency, and I know that's really important for sales. But you also want to make sure that you're infusing that storytelling that Tasha just talked about into it as well, and you're not just telling people what to do or making them feel anxious. Like the internet is such a nerve-wracking place, and you again want to create that sense of delight even in the midst of selling.
Yeah, that's really helpful in terms of like how we take just whatever we're doing now and make a more concerted effort to make a clearer ask. And I fully agree with you. Like, if I'm ready to buy, like, it only takes a couple seconds for me to be not ready to buy. If I can't,
Mhm.
find it, I'm just like, well, it's a sign I shouldn't be spending money or something.
Right, right.
So that is really helpful. Okay, wonderful. Tasha, my next question is for you. How do you balance showing up authentically, which you talked about earlier, on social media while still being intentional about that selling piece?
One thing that I promised myself after leaving corporate was that I was going to show up 1000% authentically myself. I felt like there was a lot of lip service when they told me in my roles that, oh no, come as you are, be fully who you are. But when that happened, it wasn't so well received. Not like I was coming in kicking in the doors, but it just felt more like lip service. And so when we created the Kobe Co culture, authenticity was number one. It's not opposite of sales. They fuel each other. People don't just buy our candles, they buy into our story of burnout, resilience, and joy. The mistake is thinking that you have to choose between being real and being strategic. Authenticity is a magnet. An attraction. We rotate our content in buckets. One post is storytelling, the next could be value adding, and then we, of course, ask for the sale. That way, selling feels like sharing and not pushing. Um, Authenticity is priceless. And in return, you build that connection with your people, and they truly can tell if it's a sales pitch or if it's you who is showing up. I think there's what is this? Oh my gosh. There is a book by Donald Miller. What is it? The story brand. And it's a framework for authenticity and marketing. It's a really good read. You could read the cliff notes of it, and it has so many salient points. But I think people are, they can tell the difference when it's a pitch and inauthentic pitch versus, someone being their true selves.
Mm. Yes, excellent point. And I really love how the mission you brought into like your mission and your why, you translated that into your social, which is just like kind of that deeper level of authenticity. Like it permeates throughout your business, which I think is really like unique to small businesses because they are able to do that, and leveraging that is so key, like you said. The book, what was it called again? Because I think we're gonna try and
Story Brand by Donald Miller.
Story Brand by Donald Miller.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you. Want to make sure we
yeah,
get these resources in the chat for
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Okay, okay, my next question is for Ade Bukola. So, what are some of the biggest mistakes you see small businesses make when trying to sell on social media, and how can they avoid those?
Yeah, there's a few. I think the very first one that comes to mind immediately is poor digital merchandising, right? This is really, really huge, right? You have to remember we're online, right? So we can't smell, we can't touch, and we can't try on your products or service, right? We're all experiencing your products and services vicariously through your content. And so I think small businesses miss the mark here constantly. You really need to create a sensory experience. And so I think this is actually something that Kobe Co does really well, right? So examples of this could be, showing a video of a fabric, moving to demonstrate its softness, describing your candle smells, right? Maybe filming a time lapse of your candle burning for 8 hours to show us like this really does burn for a long time. Capturing the sound of packaging online. I mean, influencers that we see online, they do this really well. And that's why a lot of them make a ton of money. They'll spend 30 seconds just really showing us, for example, how a foundation blends, right? As a product-based business, I think it's really important that that you create content that lets people really experience your product like online vicariously. Like you want to kind of visually take them there. Another thing that I see as a mistake is only posting when you have something to sell, right? You
Mhm.
can't almost like it becomes that friend that just needs a favor when they need money, right? So you really want to make sure that your content follows what we call the 80/20 rule, right? You're providing 80% value and 20% of the time you're selling. And I think that just works because as you provide people value, when you're ready to sell, they're ready to buy because now they understand the sequence of the story now, right? And that's what Tasha was talking about with the story brand book. If you ever read it, it kind of goes through that flow, right? Like story, like when we talk about story, we really mean a story. Who's the hero in this story, right? Who's the protagonist? Who's the antagonist? And taking them through that. So then you end with the sell, right? And I think that's really important. I already mentioned this. My biggest pet peeve with small businesses is ignoring DMs. There is money in your DMs right now. DMs and comments, you really want to be interactive. I see so many people post their product and I see people in the comments asking questions. And sometimes I'll go in if I really love a business and I'll answer the question for them. Like I'm like, you should answer this. I just really want to help your customers. And so making sure that you leave no stone unturned. I mean, literally take us some time today and go through the past 30 posts you made and see if people commented and asked questions. Because oftentimes people will ask questions many months, even months after you've posted some content. So make sure you check that. And I also think one small mistakes sometimes it could be like just chasing every trend without actually having strategy. Just because a dance is trending doesn't mean that it's going to sell your product. I think, businesses need to stay more relevant to who they are. And I know that it can be really enticing to follow a trend because it's going to get you more views. But again, vanity metrics, you might get a lot of views and you get a lot of traffic, but are those people actually going to part ways with their money with you and become a customer?
I
Yeah,
want to add I want
please.
to add in we were a victim of ignoring our Facebook DMs for so long. And one day I'm like, oh my gosh, let me just go check and see what's going on. One of our biggest orders started as a DM in Facebook.
Yes,
And so since
yes.
then, we that auto response has become our friend. We gave a ton of information of how to contact it with us if you have a specific order, if you have questions. But that way, setting up an autoresponder, they don't feel ignored. And many times they come with a notification letting you know that somebody really did
Yes,
engage with your post, or they have a question. So befriend the autoresponders.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And those autoresponders, is that like, oh, I've said, hey, like, where do I buy this? And it's like, thank you for your question.
Yep.
Someone will be in touch.
And then, yes,
Ah,
use those strategically for sure.
wonderful. Okay. Cool. I'm sure we're gonna have some questions about that and like the process to maybe set that up. But I'm gonna wait. We're gonna have a live Q&A. So I see some questions coming through the chat. Please continue to drop those in the chat. We'll get to as many as possible. Okay. But Ade Bukola, I wanted to go back the digital merchandising that you mentioned and how important it is to create an experience virtually for clients. That makes so much sense. And just kind of taking through like those different steps, like you need to show up consistently, you need to kind of have this story. I think that's really helpful and will help folks kind of pick out, okay, where can I start? um, Tasha, my next question is for you. So running a business is busy enough. So how do you realistically fit in content creation and consistency into your schedule?
Ooh, that was a practice we had to learn. We would be up all night, and by we, I mean me, because Kobe would be creating the candles. Um, when we first started, there was no rhyme or reason. And after learning the hard way, we understood that batching, repurposing, and scheduling became our friends. As a small business, our biggest resource is time. And this formula saved us using batching, repurposing, and scheduling saved us a lot of time. So we would shoot video and content or gather content all in an afternoon and edit it. And we'll have our strategic plan as far as what we want to communicate, what we want to sell, how we want to show up, and have all of that prepared. But scheduling that time and creating things in batch, and also using platforms that allow you to batch schedule. Canva has a calendaring system. Facebook has a calendar scheduling system. And we actually use Later because you can post to several platforms at once, from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. I know some people say that's not good, but in the beginning, it was really good for us so we could show up consistently. we would tweak the messaging a bit. And sometimes now we even go in and change the videos, but it reminds us one, we can schedule and, the information and the batches that we have already produced, schedule it to go out at once as opposed to one at a time. And that's been a lifesaver for us.
That's awesome. So like kind of designating a specific day, time, we're gonna batch
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. We were trying to post one piece of content a day, and that became so overwhelming that we were avoiding it. And then we just thought about how can we do this differently, and thank goodness for our good network of friends who recommended batching. So I definitely am going to recommend that to you all. Batching is your friend. And repurposing, like you don't always have to have a new piece of content. Yeah, that's a big one. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can have, I mean, a lot of our workshops look the same because they're in our studio, and it's just the messaging. Like we'll put a voiceover, a testimonial over an actual workshop video, or we'll also have a message about relaxing using the same video. But it's how you use your content strategically. You don't have to have professional, polished, perfect content, and you don't have to have a ton of it. You just need to know how to use it strategically.
Ooh, yes, that is super helpful. And what was that app you mentioned? Is it later?
There's one called Later. That one posts to multiple platforms at once. We were really leveraging that in the beginning, but I do recommend that you kind of tweak at least your captions, and then it's really easy to change. Once you have everything laid out, it's really easy to change the video, but still have the same message, but say it a bit different. Capture it in a more visually if you're using an Instagram. Highlight, different things if you're using it for TikTok. But again, Facebook, Canva, and Later all have calendar scheduling functions where you can, like, if you think, oh, it's going to be gratitude day, let's have something there. You can schedule that weeks in advance and not even think about it.
Ooh, I love that. Not even think about it. That is my like bread and butter. Okay, wonderful. Okay, Ade Bukola, my next question is for you. How can small businesses tell if their strategy is really working? And what's the first thing they should start tracking?
Yeah, well, you know your strategy is really working when you've really looked at trends. And so I would say when it comes to tracking metrics that you should just start with one. If you're brand new to this and this is the first time you've ever come across this, or if you've known about this and you're going to take a stab at it, I definitely think start with one metric, right? How many sales came from social media this month? That's the only question you have to answer. And I think ways that you could track this are through using unique discount codes for each platform. So I don't know if you've all have ever seen, people put discount codes and it'll be like IG10 and Facebook 1, like they're doing that because they want to see if someone actually used this code. Clearly, it had to have come from Facebook because that's the only way they would have been able to get that code, right? Asking at checkout, how did you hear about us, right? Using link tracking tools like Linktree or Bitly where you can kind of see, the clicks and where they're coming from. Like that they're coming from social because it's in your bio. Checking your website analytics, for social media traffic. I think once you're comfortable with that, now you want to create a spreadsheet of all of this. And I know again, much more complicated than this, but there's so many free tools out there that you can use. I'll be happy to actually send that in our follow up because I can't think of it now. But I know one platform that is incredible is HubSpot. And you really want to track things like the date, right? What type of post you made? What was the engagement on that post? How many links to your website, happened within the time frame of that post? And honestly, like how many sales? How many people bought this product, within the certain time frame that this post was made? And reviewing that weekly because what you want to do is you want to kind of look at the patterns of what's working and what's not. Because if nobody told you, I'll tell you today, marketing is and sales are iterative, right? So like you really have to do a lot of stuff to figure out what works and see how your customer's behavior is. You can't really determine customer behavior unless you see it for yourself. And so you really want to look at the patterns and the trends, Should you do more carousel posts over reels? Is posting on Tuesday better than Friday? Do people like certain words? Like what makes people tick and what makes them buy and what makes them click on your platforms? I think that's incredibly important.
Yeah. Oh,
If I may
yeah.
also insert, the first sign that our strategy was working was when we noticed strangers, not our friends or my mama, was buying our products. That's when you know the funnel that you've built is converting beyond your inner circle.
Absolutely. I love that. I love that perspective for sure. Because once you start to tap into people that don't know you, start to interact with people that you've never seen before, you know you've done something or you've hit something that has struck a nerve with people that they love and they want. It really, that is a great indicator. So for sure, if you feel like you're talking to random people every day, you're doing something right.
Absolutely.
I love that. So many good pieces of applicable strategy that folks can bring in. And I like how all of those pieces of data that you mentioned really go into the journey, the different like stages of what folks are interacting with. Okay, so my last question before we get into our Q&A is I want to ask each of you this question, but Adebukola, I want to start with you. So, what's one piece of advice you would give to small business owners who want to start turning followers into paying customers today?
And I think I've been saying this is like the thread of what I've been saying this entire conversation. I really think having conversations with people online, right? Like social media, the keyword is social, right? Like we are here to discuss, to talk, to converse with others. And so please, if you have an opportunity, use your stories, use all these free tools you have on social media to ask your customers or your audience questions. Like, what's your biggest challenge today? Literally post on your Instagram today on your Instagram stories. I know some people don't like to mess up the integrity of their feed and just ask people questions like, what's your biggest challenge? Would you pick this product or this product? Or why? What color should my next drop be? Like, you'll be surprised how much people actually want to be a part of the process of either helping you build your business or to help give you insight on how to make your business better for them, for their needs, right? Again, I'm a DM girly, I'm a private community girly. And so, another thing I don't think small businesses realize is that the algorithm actually favors DMs. They love DM engagement, right? They love
Very
private
true.
communities. And so that's the reason why you can see how many people liked, how many people commented, and how many people shared. Because if someone's sharing something, they're sharing it elsewhere, right? They're not sharing it to their feed. They're sharing it in a DM. They're sharing it to a story, which is a private space. And so, that share button, like that's the engagement that I look for and I get excited about as a marketer. And so, conversations and really digging deep into private communities and what people are saying about your product.
Wow, that is incredibly helpful, especially when you can like dig into those metrics and like you said, like private space sharing and think I never thought of it like that before. Very cool. Okay, Tasha, same question for you. What is one piece of advice you would give to small business owners who want to start turning followers into paying customers today?
I'd say don't just post and pray, post and guide. To reiterate what was already said, tell people where to click, what to do, why to do it, when to do it, and make it effortless. Linktree, if you use Instagram, link in bio, make it a full, comprehensive way to share your information, your pages, your information outside of Instagram. Let's see, another graphics that really tell your customer shop now, click here, go here, give them direction, and the action will follow.
Yes, I love that. Don't just post and pray, post and guide. Also, everyone, it is Tasha's birthday. I cannot believe I forgot to mention that at the top of the hour. So happy birthday and thank you for being with us today.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
okay, I want to thank Ade Bukola and Tasha for sharing so much information just on the topic overall. We know social media is a big one, right? And it's always changing. So getting this really timely information is very, very helpful. And now we're going to move into questions that folks have had in the chat. We still have time, so please drop your questions in the chat. First, I want to start Ade Bukola. What are your thoughts on a measurement of analytics that is a good place to start for someone who has a personal service instead of a product?
Yeah, I definitely think those when it comes to our personal service, you really want to get people's information because when people are seeking personal services, they're looking beyond just how this product works for me, right? Because honestly, you could be a terrible person. I'll probably still buy your product as long as it's good for me and it helps me out. I probably would still buy it, right? But when you're talking about a personal service and human services, people are looking at you as a person and if they like you and if they align with you. And so something that you really should be looking out for as far as conversion rates is how many people are clicking the link in your bio, how many people are booking a consultation or downloading a freebie, right? So if you're providing a personal service, you absolutely should be creating free content that's paywalled, right? Not necessarily that they're paying for it, but that's behind something that I'll ask them to part ways with their information in order to get it, and you're providing value with them, right? So don't give people free stuff that they could have got off of Google. Give them something that's actually valuable, and really look at how many people are actually downloading that, and retarget them once you get their information.
Ooh, love that. That like paywall parting with not just money, but also information. Thank you so
Mhm.
much. Okay, Tasha, next question is for you. Do you have live streaming shows that showcase your products? This person has a boutique with curated and bespoke clothing and accessories, and they're going to start a live fashion show each week. And she's just looking for any ideas or suggestions to make that really pop. So curious about your experience in this.
That's dope. Do that. And if there's a way that you can create community engagement, like a supplemental, you're supporting, like having some models from a specific organization, some way where you can tie into giving back to the community, I think that would be great. But it sounds so dope to have a live fashion show. Do that. Do that quickly. No, we do not do live. I mean, it's just hard to just, in my opinion, sit there and watch someone pour. It's more about the conversations. And with that said, we're starting our podcast in January where it's called The Meltdown. And we will be interviewing people as they make a candle and having conversations around all of our branding, our missions, which is scent, sound, and self-care. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But I love the idea of a live fashion show. That's going to be dope.
Yes, and thank you for your thoughts on adding in community and interaction, kind of like builds in this already like primed community because you can like
Yeah.
um double the audience kind of. Okay,
Yeah. And find ways to support other businesses or like-minded people. It's a
yeah.
way to highlight your clothes, your brand, your clothes, and other organizations. I think that's it. Just do it.
Yes. Okay, this next question I feel like is very timely, so I'd like to ask both of you. But Ade Bukola, I want to start with you. It's kind of a two-part question. So first is your thoughts on AI generated content in general, and then second is if you have any favorite AI tools that you would recommend.
Yeah. AI generated content. Well, AI is, I'm a big proponent of AI, by the way. So I love AI. I think it's democratized opportunities for people to join marketing, learn more about marketing, and throw their hat in the ring. It's helped us be more efficient. The problem with AI generated content, especially when it become when it go, excuse me, excuse me, especially when we're talking about social media, you don't own these platforms, right? And so Instagram, Facebook, social media platforms are run by algorithms and they can kind of detect what appears to be authentic and what appears not to be. And so you really want to be careful. So if you're using AI, and I assume AI generated content could probably mean photos or your caption and how you write things, you do want to create some differentiation, and this is the reason why brand messaging is so important. You really want to create a unique brand message for your company that AI can't necessarily duplicate. AI only uses knowledge that it has based on what people have given it, right? And so if you are unique, then AI wouldn't be able to just randomly, come up with that. And so I think it's important that if you are using AI, add some differentiation so it can feel unique to your brand. And if you are using AI, places like Instagram and Facebook actually have places where you can actually disclose that. And that really just helps you to be more transparent.
Yes, thank you so much. That is really helpful, especially like you said, it is such a great tool. It helps a lot, but also making it so it's different, it's unique, and obviously like the algorithms can detect it or so that is helpful. Um, Same question, Tasha. So what are your thoughts on AI generated content, and do you have any favorite AI tools?
Yep. I'd say AI content is best used as an assistant, not a replacement. Blend the two, like blend the efficiency of AI and with the authenticity of human storytelling. I can tell right away, as I'm looking at brands that are leveraging it, it'll look just weird, like the video will look weird, or they won't say who this expert person that AI has generated. And I mean, you just have to be really thoughtful as a consumer what you're purchasing and who's selling it and what the intent is, because it's really easy to get caught up and think that this AI generated person is an expert and then you've bought this random whatever. And I mean, is it going to live up to the hype? Who knows? Is it safe? Who knows? So we use AI with caution, but we love it as a tool to expand on our ideas, to help us streamline our workflows, and create more content, and just scale our ability to scale. Some of our favorite, well, one of my favorite tools is ChatGPT. It's gotten better. The paid version is only $20, and with that, you can build folders and save your ideas. You can use it's integrated with a lot of tools that I mentioned in the past, Canva. What's another good one? We like it for Canva. The other tools escape me, but the fact that they're getting more organized. Before, when we started using it, we'd have a random idea, plop it in there, and then it'd be gone. But now you can strategically use it, create project folders, and keep all of your ideas in a secure place. So I definitely love AI for the as a supportive tool, but I don't recommend you lean on it to be the voice of your brand.
Yes, that is
Brittany, I actually wasn't able to say mine. Sorry. I
yes,
love
please.
Gemini. I'm a Google fan. Google is how I run my digital marketing agency. It's my digital office, and so Gemini is awesome because it just has access to everything pretty much automatically because it is in of itself a native Google tool. So if you're a Google lover and use Google, all things Google, then Gemini might be a great tool for you as well.
Ooh, awesome. Thank you so much. We love giving like the action, like the tools to get in there. So Gemini, ChatGPT, Canva, those are some tools. Okay, let's see. So this is a good question. Ade Bukola, I want to start with you on this, and then Tasha, just get your experience from when you started. So what kind of content works best when you're just starting out and you don't have an audience yet?
That's a good one. I would say to get your hat in the ring, if you like literally have zero, because I've experienced this all the time. I in my agency build businesses from the ground up. And one thing that we've done is yes, we do post trendy content just to see if like people will view it and kind of see where we're at. You really, especially if you're starting from scratch in
Mhm.
2025, I mean, it is inextricably difficult to like really grow on these platforms today than they were 10 years ago. I mean, even just 360 days ago. And so I
Mhm.
would definitely take a part of trendy content and throw your hat in the ring with that because what happens is that if you're posting trending content, people are more than likely to find it because now that content has now been placed in the list of all the content that's using that audio. It's been placed in all the content that's, doing this new trend or new dance or new, you know, prompt or something like that. So I definitely think starting with that might be good. And then with that, it's like for every trendy content, you want to create like three pieces of content that's about you, that's about your product. So when as people start to discover you, they're coming to your page and it's not just trendy content and they're not just following you for entertainment because that also happens too. Like I had a client the very first post we ever posted was about the Olympics. The conversation last year around the Olympics was a lot about mental health, and we posted it and it got a million views. But then when people came to the page, there wasn't really a lot set up. So we were quickly churning out content to make sure that with this new traffic, people were also learning about the company so that they wouldn't just follow for entertainment, but they would stay and be engaged. And the brand is doing very well now. So of course, thanks to the algorithm gods for putting us in front of a lot of people, but you don't want to post trendy content, get all these followers, but then they don't really stay for, what you want them to stay for. So I definitely think taking a part of trends, and just quickly building up your following other pages that are similar to your industry, so the algorithm knows like, oh, you're a beauty brand, let me make sure I add your beauty page in people's For You because they might be looking for you, right? Because I always tell people this: marketing, if someone will ask you what is marketing, they'll give you all these textbook definitions. But for me, marketing is about helping people. That's it. That's the beginning and the end of marketing. It's all about helping people find you. There's people that are literally right now on Instagram in the little meta thingy, AI thing, and they're literally looking for something that you offer. There's billions of searches a day, and your job is to show up in those searches. And you can't do that if you're not creating content. You can't do that if you're not interacting with people. And so it's really important that you're continuously creating content and helping your customer find you.
Wow, I love that. Really like simplifies and kind of gives you like a trajectory to take when you're thinking about marketing. Um, Tasha, a similar question for you. Like when you first started out, what are some things that you did that were helpful?
I can tell you what some things we did that were harmful. No, we spent a pretty penny on these professional polished photos. And yes, they were beautiful, but they didn't really tell the story like we could. It wasn't until we started posting pictures and videos of ourselves in action, talking about our product, that people really started clicking and digging more into. And the biggest compliment that we get is that, oh, we love your brand. We love how you and your daughter act together. So I would again say polished is not perfection. Do not go for perfect. Just be yourself and let your brand shine through who you are. Another funny, I agree with the trends for sure. Hillman Talk was something on TikTok. It built community. That whole trend built a community of learning, just based on someone sharing information and a hashtag of Hillman Talk. So trends are not totally not worth it. But yeah, for a new business that needs content, definitely I agree. Follow those trends and make sure that you're showing up in the For You page.
Yes, love that. And I love how you mentioned some trends they might fit in with your industry or your values. And so it makes sense to strategically engage in those. Ade Bukola, I feel like this is a pretty common question. What are your thoughts on organic versus paid ads? Because I think it can be very like, maybe I should pay for something, to get more eyes on it.
Yeah, I mean, there's all different types of marketing, right? So you have paid, you have organic, and you have earned media or earned marketing, right? And so it really depends. I don't really have an opinion about one over the other. I just all of them have different function, right? You definitely shouldn't run an ad for every single piece of content you have, and every piece of content you have shouldn't just be organic. It's almost like shooting in the dark, right? And so if you really want to hyper target people, because organic is literally you're literally posting and literally shooting in the dark. You just never know who sees what. You never know, what platform is favoring what content today. And what organic directly puts that content in front of people. And so if we're talking about conversion and we're talking about social media sales funnels, I mean, paid is absolutely imperative. You definitely should be, investing in your brand, investing in yourself online, and throwing some cash behind some of this really hard, work content that you're putting together. I mean, you spent a lot of time, energy, and money to put this together, and so you definitely want to guarantee, like paid ads, all it does is say, we're gonna guarantee this gets in front of this certain amount of people. And so I definitely am a big proponent of paid, but I'm not like a big proponent of paid over organic or over earned. They're all extremely important in, the life of your marketing.
Ooh, I love that. And I like the mindset of being strategic about what you pay for and that you're literally just paying for guaranteed views. So how are you going to utilize that to the best of your ability? I do want to mention one more time because we post this at the beginning, but through the conversation, I feel like a lot of y'all are like, how do I follow Tasha? How do I stay in contact with Ade Bukola? So we're gonna drop their where you can stay connected with them. So obviously their social media, very on on topic and on brand for this conversation, but also their LinkedIn, so you can like stay in contact with them and connect with them there. Those are going to be in the chat as well if you want to gather those. And I think we might have time. I have one question that's kind of like built on the other question. For those of us who have been kind of stale in our content, like maybe we were, posting when we had something to sell, but we haven't been posting in a while. Those tips, Ade Bukola and Tasha, that you gave for a new audience, would you recommend that for someone who has an audience but just hasn't been there in a while?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We're all new. Every day is a new day, right? And I think sometimes, and again, and maybe I'm wrong, right? Like like I kind of hate the word expert. Like, who cares? Like, I can only speak from the experience and the research that I've done because I'm such a big social listener. I love to see what people are doing. And everyone's new to this. Like, there are people who've been doing this for a long time. I've been in marketing for 10 years. And every day when I wake up, I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I literally have like a midlife crisis because all of this is new. Like AI just happened. It's new for all of us. So when people say I'm an AI expert, I'm like, how? Like we haven't even scratched the surface of AI yet. Like we haven't. And so
Right.
please, if you're new to this, please don't feel like you're behind. Like, even those of us who have been here, I mean, everything has changed from last year to now. Like I have to constantly learn, and that's why I love being in the education space. I'm constantly learning about marketing and applying things. And so when I work with my clients, I always tell them, you're a partner. I'm a partner with you. Like I don't like necessarily know more. You're an expert in the business, and I'm just here to help you outgrow it. And so, don't feel discouraged if you're new to this. Everyone is new. Everyone is trying to figure it out. And we're here to help. AO is here to help you all.
Hmm.
Thank you. Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much to Ade Bukola. Thank you so much to Tasha for coming and sharing so much valuable information, answering as many questions as possible. Don't worry if you didn't get your question answered. We'll have resources and follow up and places you can go next. So I want to thank everyone. We're already at the top of the hour, if you can believe it. So thank you for joining this webinar. If you have a few minutes to take the survey, you can give shout outs to our experts or our speakers. Yes, they are experts. And you can also give us feedback on these webinars and what you would like to see more of. So thank you all. Thank you to the attendees. Thank you again, Ade Bukola and Tasha, and we will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Bye.